Hello, it's George Lees again. This is where we've gotten to on the revelations of the world owning bloodlines. That is the thumbnail from yesterday's video. Yeah, that is all the trivial names of all the families that cover those bloodlines, and that bit down there in the bottom right hand corner is the sickest bit of the lot. That is the fact that Julianus Calpurnius Piso, that is the grandson of the man who was the world's cleverest man. That is Arius Antonius Calpurnius Piso, aka Josephus, and he's married to the Bono woman. Yeah, and that is the boning of all of the women in the bloodline. Yeah, since Mariam and the Gaius Calpurnius Piso was murdered by Emperor Nero as a revenge attack for the Nero family being the contenders for the Piso elected emperorships. Yeah, there are all the Hutchisons, Robins, Murrays of Selkirk, Outlaw Murrays, Andy Murrays, Merovingians. Yeah, right at the top, all of it is in the same bloodlines. There's the Baldwins of Jerusalem. That one there in the lineup for the usual suspects is a Baldwin actor. Yeah, that one there is Keaton. Yeah, that's in all the Godfather movies, and Diane Keaton becomes the good person in that cast. There is Virgil Kint. That's Virgilus Kint. Yeah, and that is the person that is the Piso ancestor, and he is the cripple who manages to get away with all of the cash. Yeah, there is the boss at the university of that is Harvard. Yeah, she's a billionaire like all of these people are. Okay, and there's the Chicken Run movie that takes us to the start of the next video with the Fowlers in the bloodline. Okay, and there as all the trivial cover-ups, this one is quite serious because that is Commodus, the son of Marcus Aurelius. There you can see he's married to Faustina, and she's Faust in Harvard now. Yeah, you get the Harvard, that is the fog under which we live, and their motto for a laugh is Veritas, truth. Yeah. Okay, and there is the fact that Crispus Commodus becomes the man who has the right to decide whether you live or die in the Colosseum. And that now for Zuckerberg, who's in the families and on the rich list too in recent years, he now launches the live or die symbol as the Facebook approval method. Yeah, and there's the Howards of Norfolk and the Masters of the Horse that are related to the first Washington president in America. All of them Freemasons, all of them owned by those billionaire bloodlines that run the death camps in World War II. And there is what ran the massacres in Iraq. That is John Prescott, because he is got the word Piso in it, his name. And there is Sheldon Cooper and all the false news that includes the launch of the boxing champions, just to cover the relatives and the fact that all of them are descended from Arius Calpurnius Piso and the pharaohs of the 17th dynasty. Yeah, I want you to understand that the Louis joke and the Clovis joke is also the Archelous joke. Yeah, that in the Fish Called Wanda film is the joke about John Cleese playing Archie Leach, and on and on and on it goes. Okay, let me take you back to the bloodlines and I'll show you where we're going to start. Okay, so there are the Windsor Bush family tree again, but I'm going this time to my stuff that has been saved already. There is where we started off. Marcus Aurelius marries Faustina. Yeah, that's the Harvard boss. yeah, with the name in the middle that is about God being ill. Yeah, her name is Faust, and her first name is Drew Faust. I used to work for Bill Drew on the river, and that is the Selkirk Freemasons that launched the outlaw Murrays that are in the bloodline. Okay, and our middle name is Gil Phineas or something, and it's got the word pie in it just for a laugh, and the fact that God is ill in the heavens and has been totally replaced by all of these bastards right at the top of the tree. Yet there's Eutropius, married to Claudia Crispina, and that is the daughter of Commodus, the bad guy, yeah, who's married to a Crispina too, okay? And that is the launch of the European Union way back in around 200 to 300 AD. Okay, and let's go down now and find you that link to what we've just said about the people that are in the Capetan bloodline. I should have shown you that, because the real name for Kevin Spacey is Fowler. Let's go down and find the Fowlers on the bloodline. Okay, there's the Merovingians, there's Claudianus, Evo Child, and the Child Banks that are named by the folk from my local Coldstream region that are the Douglas Homes that run those banks, the Coots Bank and the Child Bank, and they are in that massive Queen-owned cabal of banking groups that spring off from the Royal Bank of Scotland and become the Royal Bank of Nova Scotia in the earlier videos I've made. Okay, there's Bega and Evan Begg and all my friends in the Professoriate, Dagobert, and that is Gobert in the world's fastest Indian movie. He had 5 wives. Yeah. Okay, there's Charlemagne, the great branch point for loads of the changes, and there is the launch of the Champagne empires with Charles Martel. It's about 50 quid a bottle in those massive Grand Prix prize winners, and it is amazing how all of this is allowed to continue for so long. Louis the Pious, do you get it? The Clovis name again, that is the middle name for Robert Louis Stevenson. Yeah, and there's a part of Newcastle named Stevenson, and I found it last night, and the industrial park is on an aristocratic part of the town. There is Hedwig, Otto of Saxony, that's Otto of Thunyans, who's a PISO, and there is the Fowler name for Kevin Spacey. Henry the Fowler, married to Matilda, and that is Waltzing Matilda, sung by the Pogues out of Ireland about the massive deaths of the ordinary people at Gallipoli. Yeah, do you get it? Henry the Fowler, that's the link to yesterday's video now, and the Fowler that is the usual suspect and the cripple that is Virgilus, yeah, and that is the Virgil Piso, and all of the links, yeah, to that massive family that writes the Bible. There's Hedwig from the J.K. Rowling cast, and Hugh the Great de Groot. Okay, so the reason the Fowlers are the Fowlers, because the Capettes are the Chicken Run movie, and that was in the video yesterday too. Okay, so do you get it? That is the launch of the Louis name from there, and that is Archelous Piso. Yeah, and that is in all of the stories that have been taken down off the website that is the Tutsi website and replaced by pornography. Okay, the sun's gone in for a brief part of the day. It's been a fabulous day as I uploaded that video. Okay, we're going now to the son of Henry I. I don't know what country that is in, but you can see that Hugh Capet, yeah, the son of Hugh the Great, and Hedwig is married to Adeliza de Aquitaine, yeah, and there is Henry I's child is Philip I of France, and that is dated 1060, 6 years before Guillaume, the replacement for God, that's William the Conqueror, and all the Free French jokes about stealing the world from their what is now a pacifist stance, and they launched the fact that the women cannot be queens, and that is the Salic laws, and all the jokes I've told you about the people that are Donny, the French knights that are Donny, that got involved in infidelity, and the French knights that are also involved are the Gaultiers. It's huge, and now we're getting close to the Berthas and the Beatrices of way back in 1066. We've got Philip I marrying Bertha, and that is the big Bertha guns that were on the top of Edinburgh Castle, telling you that it's 1 o'clock every day. That's the 13th hour for the Masons, and the launch of a big political initiative. Okay, there's Bertha of Holland in the bloodline, and we're still in the 11th century, which is 1066, and that is the links to the Queen Consort of the Franks as the French King Guillaume sweeps into England very soon after the launch of Philip I. Okay, and we go down further and we find the de Montforts. That's Simon de Montfort on the council for the borders that tried to have me sectioned, and then when he realises that I'm got onto everything, including his leather trousers for the master race out of Germany, he comes forward and shakes my hand in a very penitent way. Thank you for that, Simon de Montfort, or whatever your name is in the Kelso equivalent. She was the daughter of Simon I de Montfort, Agnes, Countess of Evera. That's the Everas that are on the bloodline. Her brother was Amaury de Montfort, John of Marmoutier, and that is the man that wrote the story. All of the false news all through the history. And here is Louis VI of France. He is Louis the Fat, although it does not show that in that picture of his coinage. Do you get it? All of them are descended from Clovis, further up the bloodline, closer to the Roman court, and most of these are from Anjou or the Parisian region, and that one is the father of Fulk of Jerusalem. That is the massive the Falco jokes, and all the Fulks are in the bloodline, and that becomes the Incredible Hulk in the covers from Hollywood. Okay, Louis the 16th, and you're getting it. Archelous, is the PISO who started all of this, and this is the posh Bourbons of France. That is the Louis dynasty right up to round about 18 or 19, and that is the wives of Marie Antoinette that are the sisters of the Emperor of Austria, which is now the role of Jacob Rothschild, the father of young Nathan and Hannah Mary. It's quite sick, isn't it? Louis was the first member of the House of Capet to make a lasting contribution to the centralising institutions of royal power, and that is the Capets that are the chicken run and the fowlers, and that is also the falco, falconry, fowlers that are the birds on their arms, and they do the hunting, and all of that is the falcos and the faldos of the golf course. That's the falconry and the falcos of ancient Rome. Louis the Fat, Louis the 7th of France, and there we have one of the three wives of Louis the 7th the Young is Eleanor of Aquitaine. Okay, let me just show you that I'm not bullshitting you there, and that is actually written on the storyline up above. Okay, Louis the 7th, called the Younger or the Young, Clovis, Louis, or now Archelous, that is the launch of the Archduke titles, do you get it? And that's the Archduke that launched by being killed and assassinated by his enemies in the family, that launched World War I on the Hume Bridge in Sarajevo, where Donald is now visiting. He's visiting the Ayatollah this week, and all of it could lead to another great conflict if they have their way, because they completely own the press. Okay, King Louis VI of France, this is Louis VII's transcript, was the king of the Franks, son and successor of King Louis VI of France, hence his nickname, and married Eleanor of Aquitaine, one of the wealthiest and most powerful women in Western Europe. Eleanor came with the vast duchy of Aquitaine as the dowry for Louis, and that is the woman that marries the man that is in the amazingly familial Tiff's movie about the lion in winter. There she is. She's a beautiful woman. She is Hepburn, and that is in the jokes about the Hepburns being related to Mary Queen of Scots, who never got a chance before they went to America and began to falsify the whole of world history. But that movie's quite accurate, I believe. Apart from the fact that it does not show you what the Robin Hood movies show you. That remember, all of that is the know-nothings from Nottingham Forest. That meet in Nottingham now, and that is Clive, that is Field McConnell, all of my mates, all of the treasonous people that refuse to understand all of this, and to replace the culprits that are Brookfield in the biggest crimes of the Rothschilds. That's the bringing down of the rainforests in America, and that becomes, the Brookfield suddenly becomes a disappeared person, and he is replaced by McKenna, and those were the people I used to work with at Imperial College London, with the boss Dr. Jones. That is the massive joke for all of them, that Dr. Jones is seeking the Holy Grail, and I found it yesterday. It's all explained in yesterday's video about the Templars, the Global Masons, and the Master Masons being the Stammering Kings and the St. Clairs of the massive place that is the mythology about on the outskirts of Edinburgh, where all of them go to seek the Holy Grail. It is the Church of Roslin Chapel. The Holy Grail is in every church in the world, and it's just the goblet that they drink out to celebrate their greatest triumph, that is the launch of the false Jesus. Okay, let's keep going, and we'll end up somewhere in this is actually the bloodline for the mad King George III of Germany, who became the King of England, and they've never been out of the kingdom since then. Philip II of France, Philip II Augustus, the jokes about Augusta teaching King Herod how to become a corrupted governor of your country or your principality or your palatinate, Donald. Married Isabella, married Ingeborg, the pagan killers of Denmark, and that is the Ings who are now on the Aegis Defence Systems boards and were field marshals for I think Mrs. Thatcher's armies. That went to Argentina and fucked everybody there, so that they can continue with this massive tyranny. Okay, there's a sister of King Canute. Do you get it? Ingeborg of Denmark, Queen of France, and that is where the Danish queens went to when they were forced to flee from the stammering King George VI, who was incapable of siring children that did not have epilepsy. All over the newspapers and the news events yesterday, and I believe there has been a terror event today, because before my videos get published they tell you that there's been terror, and it's this time in the city of Manchester, which is the hub for Rothschild and the cotton production. Yeah, that's Louis the 8th of France. Yeah, let's get away from this now and get down to more modern days. Okay, Louis the 9th, Saint Louis. Yeah, that's a big one, because that is the sainting of the Louis that's in the bloodline in 1200, 1260, 1226 to 1270 he lived. Okay, and that his name is Louis the 9th, and that is painted by John Tibet at Bibliothèque Nationalité. That is the Tibets that are on the American presidential bloodline, and the obfuscation by artists and authors of everything that happens through all of world history. Philip the Bold, that may have been using those methods, Philip the Bald, and the links to Baldwin of Jerusalem. Yet that was all over yesterday's video. Okay, married Philip III the Bold of France, Isabel of Aragon, Queen of France, and Marie of Brabant, that is fucking Belgium. Yeah, and all the treason at Waterloo, and all of that involving the Lennoxes and the Duchesses of Richmond, and the balls that they have featuring James Blunt's new family that host the ball, yeah, under the thrall of the Duke of Wellington, Wellesley Wood. And James Blunt has, within the last couple of years, married for power the Wellesley Wood family. Yeah, I forget the name, Sophie, I think, Wellesley. Yeah, all of the families that are the and here we've got the Count of Valois now. Yeah, Liberty Valence, and all the jokes, all of it comes out, and he's married to Margaret, and we're now up to 1284 to 1325. That is when Longshanks died in England. Yeah, at the Cumbrian place that is on Sands, I forget the name of the village. Okay, there's the De Everas that appear in the Welsh rugby team. Yeah, they are the children of Philip VI of France. Yeah, and the Philips are in that movie as the person who's prepared to negotiate and reveal that all of the English pretenders to Henry II's throne, who's married second time around to Eleanor of Aquitaine, but keeps the woman who's Alex, yeah, from France, yeah, as his mistress and effectively his queen and his lover. Yeah, and he made love to the parent. His father also made love to Eleanor of Aquitaine, and all of it is a huge belly laugh. Okay, so let's get down to the bottom, and I can show you how the whole of that Salic laws thing has impacted on the Swedish monarchy that I've met in person in the last few days. Okay, John II of France, and we've got the Black Death in there. France was facing several disasters. The Black Death, which caused the death of nearly half of its population, yeah, known as Jacqueries Free Companies of routiers, that's the Reuters organisation, who plundered the country, and English aggression that resulted in disastrous military losses, including the Battle of Poitiers. Remember that this is just this is 1328, yeah, to 1350, so it's 300 years after Guillaume, God the Conqueror, William the Conqueror, yeah, who has got the Count de Telfer on his bloodlines, yeah, and all of the massive links to Scotland and the Walter Scott families, and all of them are the authors of the stories that are you know, Ivanhoe, and the people are posting Ivan was the name of David Cameron's son, who died at age 10, and that's why I sang the Ivanhoe song, to remind David Cameron that unless he returns from the evil place that his family is in and takes us back to decency, then that is likely to occur through all of their lives. His dad was born with his feet facing in the wrong direction, and they had to be surgically rectified. Yeah, that is the launch of the banks that are the Honkers and Shonkers Bank, the HSBC that we talked about the other day, in the context of it now being a mafia operation. And even the John Paul Getty relatives potentially being yet declining to trade with them because they're so corrupted, and they steal from their customers like every one of these tiers of society. John II the Good, Louis I, Duke of Anjou, okay, and we're now down to Marie of Blois, Duchess of Anjou, Louis II of Naples, and can you guess why they're back in Naples, where the Bible was launched from? Yeah, Prince Philip was born in the Bay of Naples. Yeah. And there, and all of it is just the launch pad for Archelous PISO. Yeah, do you get it? And that becomes the beheaded Bourbons of the super aristocracy of France. Yet with all the lies that they tell through all of French history, and the host for Mrs. Simpson, I forgot to put this in yesterday's video, the Simpsons were married into one of those presidential bloodlines, and that's why Mrs. Simpson was brought into the story about breaking up the English monarchy, so that the abdicated monarch did not have to make the stammering speech that the stammering king made in the end. Do you get it? That's another obfuscation. I forgot about that in yesterday's video. It's very important. I'll find the bloodline for that little rift and show you again at a later date. Okay, so we're nearly at the bottom of this tree, and I think I might stop because I have not really planned this video. I was going to show you on that tab, a couple of tabs along, how the Dutch kings and queens, yeah, the man that I met, Gustav, he is Charles the 16th king of that country, and that number 16 is the 16 Vestal Virgins, and it is the code for pi, yeah, that is the PISO joke through all of world history. That's why Annie Lennox in that treasonous family from Bear's Den, that's Rothschild Bear Den, yeah, all of it is a huge joke for all of them, and none of them ever thought that it would ever be uncovered by the simple people that watch their sport, yeah, or used to be cast into the deaths in the Colosseum. And here we've got the Holland jokes for the Duchess of Lorraine. She's Yolande, yeah. Okay, and I think we're down to the bottom, and that started with the people that I met in the bar the other night telling me that their names were Bar and that they were incapable of having children. Lovely, got the courage to talk to me. And if we keep going down from all of those Louis that are linked to Clovis and Archelous PISO, we get eventually to George I married Sophia Dorothea, yeah, and up above them King James I of England, that launched the Bible, yeah, as we were beginning to launch the Mayflower fleet and all of the ships, including the wee James, that followed on from them and went to America and launched false religion there. Yeah, ever since those mad kings have been in charge. There's George III married Charlotte of Mecklenburg-Strelitz, played by the woman that gets her tits out in all the other movies, yeah, and he then, because he's had a 60-year reign and the courtiers are able to do whatever they want with all of the continents that they've now discovered, that is the launch of the transition of the names from the Hanoverian names that they used to use, and the Butcher of Cumbria that committed the genocide at Culloden. And all of that is the killing of God in the world's religious stories. Yeah, these are the Holy Roman Emperors way back when, in Charlemagne's time, and that is the Holy Roman Empire where the archdukes, do you get it, the Archelous jokes, yeah, where they were killed, yeah, in the hunting lodges that became the hunting lodges for the Austrian Rothschilds. Yeah, lovely bloody story, and they're still in charge in England. And the Bible that was launched by that little child, yeah, also launched the Mayflower and the 30 years and then the 100 Years Wars that were mass massacres for every Christian that walks this earth. Okay, and we just look down that tree and we can see how much of history we've covered, from Bertha and the big Bertha guns, yeah, through the Louis and the Eleanors of Aquitaine, to the Ingeborgs of the pagan cult and the Swedish involvement in those massive 30 Years War, yeah, where they were the biggest killers on the Protestant side. Okay, and all of it, they're still in charge of Britain. And do you get the joke that they have culled Odin in that sectarian violence that was Bonnie Prince Charlie with the Rotary Club icon, yeah, and the windmill blades for corrupted Holland on his hat? That is the joke, that they are the Stuart lineage that is in Donald Trump's draft dodging lineage. Okay, and we keep telling you about the Percys, but we don't tell you so much about Donald Trump and his links to Goring and to Hitler and to even the Heinz families that launched the savoury sauces. And they were mentioned in my inaugural lecture, but I was a really stupid person then, because none of this made any sense to me now. Okay, do you get it? Elizabeth Stuart married Frederick V, and there is Mary Stuart married Francis II, and that is Mary de Guise, and they are on Donald's bloodline. Yeah, and there is little James, yeah, 1603, the man only lived to the age of 22, which for Taylor Swift is a big hit. Yeah, and it's two little ducks in the bingo calling. Yeah, and all of it is covered by trivia, and you now know that I left some of the trivia out of yesterday's video. I could show you, if you're still patient enough, because my hosts have not returned home, that's the Kaiser on the next tab, same family tree, right back to Piso, who wrote the Bible. Okay, but where is the Sweden? There it is. Okay, I'll just show you some pictures and the gist of what that man told me the other night, Gustav, with his Piso pipe in his mouth. Yeah, and there is the Swedish royals, and the tree, I think we'll leave that because it might be confusing. So there's the kings and queens of Sweden. How many of them? Yeah, there's loads. The King Gustav has loads and loads and loads of sisters, all of whom are older than him, and this is the twisting of the laws. So that's a cross-gender joke, like the Eleanor of Aquitaine joke. She was cast into jail while the other guy, while Henry II was having his affair with that woman, Alex. Yeah, and that is also Alex de Porquet. That is another one of the parroting it back jokes. Yeah, and that is the Monty Python's output. And here you've got the Swedish royal family, and there they are in the regalia. Remember that all of these are afflicted by Queen Victoria being shagged by 2 members of the Rothschild family, and that is on this tab here. Yeah, there is one of the tabs has got the Rothschild family tree that takes you right down through, and his number is Carol the 16th, and that is the pie joke, and that is the thing that killed Martin McGuinness. Yeah, the pious story, that is the direct connection to the bloodlines, but he's just using it as he's numbered. Yeah, I don't know whether or not he has a direct connection, because there were 15 that went before him, and there's Gustav Karl, August. So he's got decent male children now, I think, and that's what that's telling us. But if we look at the family tree that he came from, I think he had about 7 sisters, and all of them were older than him. Yet that's the Salic laws still biting across the nobility all across Europe. Yeah, male only. Prince Gustav Adolf, that's his dad, was killed. Yeah, and you see the need for an Adolf in World War II, don't you? Yeah, and the reason he was killed in an airplane crash in the afternoon, 26th January 1947, at not Ketchup but Kastrup Airport, Copenhagen. The prince, along with 2 companions, was returning to Stockholm from a hunting trip and visit to Princess Juliana and Prince Bernhard of the Netherlands. Yeah, I think that's the Beatrix woman. Yeah, don't know how she gets the Juliana name, but that is the Julia Piso names, and the young son that was the grandson that is on that bloodline that I showed you. Yeah, and that is the people that were the parents of Marcus Aurelius. Yeah, married to the Piso man who wrote Revelations in the Bible, and made out that his dad was the devil in that story, and that's why he was topped. Yeah, but they allowed Marcus Aurelius to take over the power base, and Commodus put an end to that. Yeah, do you get it all now? Yeah, all of it is linked in to the modern Hollywood output, and the descendants of all of those massive criminals that have run the world for I don't know how long Judaism lasted before the Christians began to launch the story that was written by the Jew Arius Copernicus Piso. Andy Devine Barr shared your post. Yeah, right in the middle of the interview. The quietness of my house, Facebook are posting. Yeah, and I think he's a new member today, and I'm quite thrilled that the woman I've loved since I was a boy oh no, she's younger than me, I think. She has been, I've admired her lovely bony knees and her facial structure for year after year after year. After she sings with Sting, picked to play the game, she's now on Facebook. That's Sheryl Crow. Okay, and that is the crows and the links to the ravens of Ravenna, yeah, which was the capital of the Roman Empire after they moved out of Rome, because it had been sacked by the Rothschilds of Frankfurt. Yeah, that is not the Rothschilds at that time, but it is sacked by Alaric, yeah, of Frankfurt, yeah, with the Rothschild family and all of Thor's oak behind them. Yeah, that's the launch of all the new religions that launch every one of those religious wars. So let me just show you the Swedish royal tree. Okay, so there is the tree that takes you to King Gustav and his dad that was killed because he went to see that man that was there he is. I met him. He's not got his pipe in his mouth there. He's on the left of that. His wife is absolutely beautiful, and the sisters are a bit older than him, and they're quite plump now, but it's fascinating to see them. They look like really genial people, even although they were not allowed to have the kingdom. Okay, the Swedish royal court lists the foreign members as the members of the royal house. King Carol the 16th, the Vestal Virgins, meaning meaning pie, yeah, and that is the untouched vagina, yeah, the Vestal Virgins that are sung about by Annie Lennox in that deathly pale song that she may regret someday. Yeah, that's the Deathly White song that she sings. Yeah, Queen Sylvia, the King's wife. Let's get a picture of her, she's beautiful. Crown Princess Victoria, Duchess of Västergötland, yeah, Gottsheim, Bill Gates. Prince Daniel, Duke of Västergötland. Prince Estelle, Duchess of Östergötland, that is Western Gotland, and Eastern Gotland. Bill Gates. I've only just discovered this. Okay, Prince Carl Philip, Duke of Värmland, the King's only son, born 1979, and because the women are good, Princess Sophia, King's daughter-in-law, born, oh, maybe not, the women are maybe not good. Okay, let's keep going down. Prince Alexander, let me show you his sister. So that's his story. I should have made this a separate video. It's a big mistake of mine. Yeah, there's enough information in that first half. That's him. No PISO pipe this time, but a perfect likeness for the man I met. Okay, the king in 2009, Gustav VI, was his predecessor, and that is Adolf in wartime. Yeah, these are the people that have the Carlsberg drinks. He is Carol the 16th of the Vestal Virgin line. Okay, and let's find his wife. She's absolutely beautiful, and she reminds me, so they are likely to be Robertian and Fulks of those bloodlines. Oh, maybe it does link into what I've just told you. That's Carl Gustav Holt, Fulk, and surname Hubertus. Yeah, do you get it? Just to let them know it's us, Bertie. Victoria, Crown Princess of Sweden. That could be one of Victoria's children by Rothschild. Yeah, and that is their issue, female heir egalitarian. Yeah, not a word of that, not any hint of that. And they live in Haga Palace, Solna, Sweden, and the spouse was a Summerlath, and they married, that's Sylvia, they married in 1976. Okay, and it's the House of Bernadot. Yeah, that's the Bernadette jokes for that woman that died with a horrible cancer, that was playing the nun and wanted you to know that she was only interested in the man's willy. And that's the Bernadette that was the one of the saints out of Hollywood because of the movie that they made in the grotto, in the place that my relatives used to go to and visit. That is the grotto and Saint Bernadette of Lourdes. Yeah, I can't think of anything evil about Lourdes so far, but there will be something, I'm sure. Okay, Carl Gustav, yeah, and it's got Swedish pronunciation, Den sex Gustav. Not sure why the sex word is in there again. And there he is by the Viking ships. 15-year-old Crown Prince of Sweden looks at the recently recovered 17th century warship Vasa in 1961. The vassals were, I think, were they negotiators in wartime? There's his beautiful wife, and the links to Putin are explained further down. It's a bit tenuous, but I hope to show you that. It's going to make this video even longer, and it's already 44 minutes. Okay, Carl Gustaf, the 16th Vestal Virgin person. The accident was described as a... oh, there's another accident in 2005 with these posh cars. Yeah, I've only just noticed that. That's the Volvo productions, the Ferrari productions, Cobras, and the accident was described as a fender bender with no serious personal injuries claimed. Nevertheless, the incident caused national headlines like the terror in Manchester will this evening. And a man's unfriended me just the same day as I befriended him, because, and I've not even commented on the Manchester terror. There's the beautiful wife, yeah, of this man, and Sylvia, yeah. That's will be the links to Sylvanus and the Silvers emperors in Rome that are fucking Bilko for a laugh. I could have showed you that, but it's one of my brother-in-law's great jokes. He has the whole video collection for Bilko, and that is why my brother-in-law, who's a dead likeness for Kevin Spacey, yeah, is in the Freemasons, sharing all these jokes and trying to make me bankrupt. He's now split up with his poofy married friend that was Philip, and that's Philip and Stephen in the PISO Bible. Yeah. Right, so let me just show you the family tree and the dad's. You've seen the dad's crash, yeah? Do you get it? That's Prince Bernhard, who was the founder of Bilderberg for Wealth Divide. That is Prince Bernhard, that was the Nazi friend of Hitler before the war, and that is Prince Bernhard who after the war became the man who carved up and did all of the reparations in league with the person that was President Ike Eisenhower, who's related to Schindler and who's related to the backroom girls that are guess what the boys in the back room will have. Yeah, that is Dietrich, and they're my Facebook friends now, and they're still loyal even although all of these secrets are coming out. Yeah, no longer secrets. Here's Mrs. Magnusson, and this is interesting because Sally Magnusson, yeah, will be in this bloodline. Yeah, somewhere. That is Magnus Magnusson. Yeah, my favourite drink is a Magners, but Magnus Magnusson will be in this bloodline somewhere as one of the cousins, like Annie Lennox, that prostitute themselves for the super elites that are their relatives. Okay, Prince Gustav Adolf, Duke of Västerbotten. Yeah, that's the bot jokes for all of the authors that are that write those stories about the raising of the pigs. That is P.G. Woodhouse, and all the bots that are in his stories are going to be covers for the Western bots of Sweden. Yeah, and the Eastern bots of Sweden. Okay, it all begins to drop into place. Princess Sibylla, yeah, that's the goddess Cybele that Shania Twain plays in that leopard skin gear, and that is why Shania Twain has lost her voice for the last decade, even although I fell in love with her because she prances around saying that she's got no heroes in this world. Yeah, it apparently is getting better, Shania. I hope to meet you someday and call you to account. She's the person that got vast tracts of land from Helen Clark, and if you look at yesterday's video and the pictures of Guistra and all of those people, that is Helen Clark that is pictured in the stealing of vast tracts of land from New Zealand, and she became the boss at the UN, and she stole $2 million from them in the first couple of years. She's now completely out of politics, and she, like all of the others, is a false socialist. But at least she did not take that country to war. Yeah, when other countries were going to war, yeah, and that is in the Balkans and places like that. Okay, there's Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, yeah, and shagging a woman called Victoria in the United Kingdom, that leads to the child Prince Leopold, yeah, the same leopard skin jokes and the sainting of all of those people in Austria, because the blood was all over their armoury but not under the belt. Okay, do you get it? That is not Prince Albert. That is two members of the Rothschild family that sired 9 of Queen Victoria's babies, and she was already married when she had the first one by the Hanoverian man that was blind Prince George of Cumbria and Teviotdale. Yeah, so do you get it? All of these bloodlines are totally tainted by the bastardy that all of the Rothschilds have planned through all of world history, and that is why they are now still the Queen's advisors on financial enterprises and how to keep your bloodline alive despite the evil that it perpetrates every generation. Yeah, and that is why the Queen's mother is not George, the Queen's father is not George VI, but is Winston Churchill, who's got more royal blood in him than the other contenders. Yeah, Queen Victoria had to get the Germans in to make her a royal again and to give her those royal marks that were the killing of Greg Hallett, because he told all of those stories and was my Skype contact. Yeah. And there are the Pi names: Princess Helena of Waldeck and Pyrmont, yeah, Princess Louise, and all of them could be the children of Prince Albert. Yeah, in inverted commas, yeah, because he had the Prince Albert's chain through his penis, so he could not have sex. And the family, in the end, they killed him. Okay, do you get it? And there's Schleswig-Holstein, Sonderburg, Glucksburg, yeah, and all the music that is Gluck, and all my favourite music. We went to see the whole opera. There's only one tune in that massive 3-hour opera that I recognise, and I play it all the time because it's a referral to the PISO family. Yeah, and to crossing the Styx if you're lucky enough. I don't think many of these will make it. Yeah, if there is an afterlife, no one can know, but all of them pretend that they know everything, and they also pretend that they are from outer space. Yeah, as if none of the humans would be vicious enough to commit the massive financial and genealogical crimes that I'm reporting here. Okay, let's find Mrs. Magnus. Yeah, because she's the sister of what's his face, Gustav. Oh no, so the Magnuses are further back on that bloodline. Gustav Oscar Sophia of Nassau, Saxe-Coburg and Gotha, Charles Edward, Princess Victoria, Adelaide of I don't know where the... It looks as if we've got the titles wrong. And there's the Hohenlohes that become the Hohenzollerns, and that's Kaiser Bill. Yeah, the close cousin through that great conflict, yeah, of the combatants in Britain that died in their beds. So there's the Queen Victoria bloodlines, and I've just explained all of that to you. There's Ernest, Duke of Cumberland, and after 1837 King of Hanover. That is the family bloodline that shagged Queen Victoria to give her the royal marks. George V of Hanover deposed in 1866. Reputational hazard. And there's the Putin obfuscations, but I still cannot find the woman that is the sister of Karl. And she's lovely and genial. Maybe she's on the tree tab. Eric and Eric, Ing the Elder, and this is back into more ancient history, Sophia of Minsk, Richiza of Denmark, Eric Duke of Södermanland, Valdemir Hakon, King of Norway. Do you get it? That is the gifting of Norway to the Nazis. And there's Maria of Mecklenburg. Yeah, and all the names that the British royals had to drop. Christina, Charles, Catherine of Sweden, John Casimir, Count Palatine Donald of Kleeberg, John Elizabeth Baden-Durlach, Charles Brandenburg Ansbach. Yeah, all of the bloodlines totally twisted. Gustav III, Gustav IV, Adolf, Oscar II, Gustav V. Yeah, I cannot find that woman that is the sister of this man, the eldest sister. Yeah, in any other sector of life she would be the person that inherits the assets. Swedish royals. And there's the beautiful Sylvia, Mrs. Magnusson, Princess Christina, Mrs. Magnusson, pictured with her husband. This is not the one that caught my eye with the cheery yellow dress on and the plump features. But let's just check that she's not further down, and then I'm going to stop, because it's all boring, isn't it? Yeah, all of them play the same game, and now that the citizens are onto them, it's going to come crashing down. Carol the 16th, and is there a picture of his sister? Yeah, Robertian, Fulcan, all of it there to be picked at, and the links to Putin I still cannot find. Papa, so that's his dad, and does it tell you? Oh, it maybe is in here, because this is the person that had all those children. Spouse was Princess Sibella of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Yeah, friend of Bernhard the Nazi. Bernhard the friend and the person that carved up the whole of Europe after the war that he encouraged Hitler to engage in. Yeah, and they've got links to that silver thing. Princess Christina, Mrs. Magnusson, is the one that we're looking for. Okay? And that's Bernhard's mate. Yeah, killed in the plane crash. And that is the gremlins that the gods give them. And there is Hermann Göring, who's related to Donald, and the prince's grandfather, Gustav V of Sweden. And that is the Al Gore lineage that takes you right into that massive place that is New Zealand that I love so much, and the Gore-Clinton highway. All of them are bastards. Bill Clinton is the half-brother of Queen Elizabeth II by Winston Churchill for reasons that we've just explained. And there it's Princess Brigitta of Sweden. She married Prince Johann Georg of Hohenzollern. You get it? That's the Sound of Music jokes, and that is Kaiser Bill. Yeah, and that is the Hohenzollern lines that went to La Rosie School in Switzerland. And there is the pictures of Brigitte and their children, and that is the naming of all of the von Trapp family singers that went into the Austrian Navy and won the song before they escaped over the Alps into the homeland, yeah, for the billionaires that I told you about yesterday, that are the Picciottos, yeah, with the PISO name at the very beginning. Princess Desiree, Baroness of Silver Shield, yeah, that is the silver kings of the Sylvanias and all of the kings and queens of Italy, and the empresses that are linked to that inept actor and mobster. He pretends that everything he does is a scam like the PISO family, and that is Bilko. His name is Silvers, and that is the joke about ancient Rome. Okay, and I cannot find the plump woman with the cheery smile that makes me feel safe with this family, yeah, after they have learned their lessons, but they still smoke the PISO pipe. Mrs. Magnusson, she must be right at the top, and we must have... There she is! I think we'll stop here. It's a cheery looking image, and Sweden is a fond place for mine. They are the collaborators that I had at the Uppsala University, that is the best drug safety unit in the whole globe. It's the least funded science in world history, and all of that, all of their interventions with the collaborators that I've worked with in New Zealand led to the understanding of the thalidomide diseases, and she is one of the big sisters of Gustav, yeah. And you can see the Salic laws that were launched by those families in France, yeah, that were the lovers of Eleanor of Aquitaine, yeah, all of them lead to, that is the Toblerone jokes, that is the Nestle affairs, yeah, and the infidelity involving Donny and Jean-Paul Gaultier, yeah, and Jean-Paul is the joke about the Getty wealth, and all of it is now beginning to come together. Powerful genealogical female bloodlines, but the Salic laws demote them, yeah, that's the moat in the middle of the town, to Mrs. all her sisters older than King Carl. Lovely man, yeah, clearly interested in a moral future because of the mistakes that his father made that made him die in that plane, and I believe that is an act of God, and that's the gremlins that all of them worry about, yeah, because that is the launch of the RAF and the Jewish angel Raphael. Right then, isn't she lovely? I think we'll close there. Princess Christina, prior to the wedding of her niece Madeleine in June 2013. Love to take her out for a cup of coffee. Yeah, no ulterior motives, just to get the truth from Haga Palace, Solna, Sweden. And there is her husband is Tord Magnusson, Sally, yeah, who studies the utility of urine. And the Fuller joke that was in the story that we told you yesterday about the Ullers being the surname for some of the culprits in yesterday's video on that massive PISO-Windsor FDR Bush bloodline, and all of the people that link into Scotland and all over Europe. You can see how it happens. And do you get the Bernadette and the Saint Bernadette joke now? Yeah, in the cave at Lourdes, and all of the saints are faked up as a money stream. Going to close there with that lovely warm smile, Princess Christ Aina. Yeah, do you get it? All of it, same joke. Wedding of her niece Madeleine in June 2013, when I think that was the year that they, oh no, it's 2 years before they sectioned me, so that's when they fabricated my wife's separation date. Bye bye.